On a deserted road, a car was speeding forward. Inside, the driver was quietly focused on reaching his destination, though a slight fatigue and confusion lingered in his eyes. The back seat was stacked with piles of luggage, and a faint smell filled the car, as if someone had hurriedly packed things. Suddenly, a commotion came from behind. A boy was standing at the roadside, holding a long object that looked like a weapon. With sudden precision, he threw it toward the car. The metallic crash echoed in the air, yet the car continued moving forward. The driver considered braking for a moment but quickly regained his composure and accelerated. The story, however, didn't end there. Further ahead, another boy appeared in front of the car. He signaled for the car to stop and immediately threw spikes on the road. Sweat appeared on the driver's forehead. He realized this was no ordinary act but a planned attempt. He slammed the brakes and the car came to a halt. Silence fell for a brief moment, broken only by the soft hum of the engine. The driver peeked out of the window and shouted angrily, "Who are you? Why did you stop the car?" Instead of answering, the boy tried to explain something with gestures. The driver, frustrated, quickly got out, grabbed the boy by the collar, and pushed him aside. Meanwhile, the other boy rushed forward and opened the car door. Inside, a young girl crouched, waiting for the right moment. She quickly slipped in and hid behind the seat. The driver discarded the spikes and restarted the car. His face reflected suspicion and unease, yet he continued driving, understanding little. The girl's heart raced and she took a deep breath, thinking, now everything will be fine. After some distance, the driver stopped the car in a desolate spot. He looked back, but the girl seemed to have vanished behind the seat. He got out and examined the luggage, turning piles over, but everything was in place. Still, unease lingered in his heart. He got back in and drove on, constantly glancing in the rearview mirror. Meanwhile, the girl's fear gradually transformed into relief. She held a small child in her arms, quietly sleeping. Softly, she said, "He is not my child, but I can't leave him." As the car neared its destination, the driver stopped once more, suspicious that something might have been taken. He checked the luggage again. Everything was intact, yet he had no idea that a stranger was inside his car, holding a big secret. The driver drove on. The road was long and deserted, while the girl's heart kept pounding. She held the child tightly. A calm silence settled inside the car. The driver felt as if someone was watching his every move. Finally, the car turned onto a dirt path near a small village. The driver began unloading the luggage bags, bundles of clothes, and a few wooden boxes, carrying them inside one by one. The girl watched from behind, hoping the driver wouldn't notice her presence. After unloading, the driver happily went inside, confident that everything had arrived safely. But as he closed the door, a heavy splash of water fell on him. Startled, he turned around. There stood the same girl who had been hiding in the car. The driver shouted angrily, "You, what are you doing here? And how did this child end up with you?" The girl took a deep breath and replied seriously, "This child is not mine, and I came to tell you the truth." The driver frowned in confusion. "What truth?" The girl slowly began to explain everything. "When you were loading your car, another girl came. She secretly placed this child in the car and left. I saw everything with my own eyes. I tried to call out, but you didn't hear. You gave that girl some money and drove off. I ran after your car and hid inside so I could tell you the truth." The driver's face showed both anger and confusion. "You're lying. This is all a made-up story." The girl replied confidently, "If you doubt me, let's find the child's mother." The driver fell silent. After a moment, he said, "All right, but remember, if you lie, the outcome won't be good." Together, they set out to find the child's mother. They went from house to house, asking, "Is this your child?" The first house belonged to an elderly woman. Seeing the child, she said, "Not mine. I'm longing for my own grandchild." At the next house, a young girl answered. The driver asked hopefully, "Is this your child?" She laughed and denied it. "No, I'm not even married yet. How could it be mine?" The driver turned away, disappointed, but the girl said, "We have to keep looking. I saw that girl nearby." The search continued, tension rising. The child's innocent face showed helplessness, and the girl feared what would happen if the mother wasn't found. Night deepened, yet the driver and girl wandered from one end of the village to the other, knocking on doors. The same response repeated, "This child isn't ours." The child began to cry. The girl soothed him in her arms, whispering, "Shoo, it will be okay. We'll take you to your mother." The driver sighed. "Maybe you were mistaken. Perhaps that girl isn't from here." The girl, determined, said, "No, I saw it all. You gave money to that girl, and she secretly put the child in the car." Suddenly, at the far end of the village, they saw a young girl holding something close to her chest. Approaching, she tried to step back in fear. The driver asked, "Is this your child?" For a moment, silence covered her face. Then she quickly said, "No, it's not mine." The girl stepped forward. "Don't lie. I saw everything with my own eyes." The young girl panicked, tears filling her eyes. At that moment, a young man appeared. It seemed he was her friend. He said seriously, "It's true she isn't married yet, but it's also true that this is her child." Both the driver and the girl were stunned. The young man continued, "She left the child out of fear of what people might say, but the truth cannot be hidden." The girl softly said, "Look, abandoning the child isn't the solution. When he grows up, he will honor you and serve you." The young girl cried, "I did this out of fear of society. I thought everyone would mock me." The girl stepped forward and placed the child in her mother's arms. "This is your child. You have to raise him. We are with you." The child felt his mother's touch and fell silent. A wave of calm spread through everyone's heart. In the cool early hours, a quiet peace prevailed, yet a weight remained. Seeing the child with his mother softened everyone's expressions. The driver sighed and said gently, "It's over now. The child is with his mother. But we've also learned a lesson. Hiding someone's secret is a huge responsibility." The girl, speaking softly to the driver, said, "I didn't imagine it would be so complicated. I only wanted the child to reach his mother." The mother, embarrassed, admitted, "I know my decision was wrong. I was afraid of people, of society's judgment of my future. But now I understand that a child is not a burden, but a blessing." Her friend added, "We all make mistakes, but facing the truth takes the greatest courage." The driver decided to take everyone to his home to spend the night. On the way, the child let out a small laugh. Everyone looked at each other and smiled genuinely for the first time. At home, they had tea. The child fell asleep, and the girl sat beside the mother, stroking her hair. The next day, villagers gathered. Some mocked, but most said, "It was a mistake, but it was corrected. The child is with his mother. That's the most important thing." At the end, the girl said to everyone, "Friends, if we support someone in difficulty, society can improve. Instead of hiding others' secrets, help them so they can correct their mistakes." Finally, everyone stepped outside. The driver started the car, and the girl said softly, "Now we go." But this story should be told so others can learn a lesson. The driver nodded, and the car drove out of the village. The first rays of the sun spread across the sky, and the child slept peacefully in his mother's arms. Friends, if you like the video, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this.